Hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, if you're in the back, please come forward.
Room, gather round. Everybody out there.
The
Entire expo floor should be here for the hackathon right now.
Do it.
We got Blockchain Beach in the house. We've got the Global Hackathon in the house. We've got the whole gang in the house.
Hello.
I'm going to start with a little karaoke. Can I get a little bit more on this one?
We're going to do some karaoke,
hey, hello,
hackathon
hello.
style.
Hello. Hey, hello. Okay. So that's it. Hello, everyone. This is the last few minutes of the Global Hackathon. We have been busy in this convention center for the last 3 days. We started it on the second floor in room 511, where we had over 100 engineers and builders come out to start innovating and building on the blockchain. So we're excited to make this a part of Crypto Invest Summit. Major thanks and shout outs to Elon and Yosef for putting on such an incredible event. The Global Hackathon is a meaningful part of these conferences where engineers are coming back to the space, where engineers are coming back and taking center stage. We've got a lot of interesting things going on in the financial world. Austin spoke about earlier on stage.
That's right.
And this is extremely important. The Global Hackathon is important as Bitcoin. Maybe not, but it's important. So if you were involved in the hackathon as a participant today, would you please raise your hand? Or at all over the weekend?
Thank you.
We go. All right.
We've got some great teams that built some amazing things over the past 2 days, so that's why we put this together, because that's more important than talking about building things, is actually rolling out product in real time. So we're excited about that. Big thanks to the sponsors here today. Total was one of them. CoinMarketCap, Fusion Exchange, MetaX, obviously Blockchain Beach as always. And I believe that was it so far.
So without any further ado, or whatever that is, let's go ahead and get started with our first presentation. I believe it's YOLO Wrecked, right? First up?
YOLO Wrecked, is that the name?
YOLO Wrecked with
Some
a
of the
KT.
Spank Chain team is
All right,
here
let's
in
hear
the
it.
house.
Let's hear it for the Spank team and our
applause.
first exhibitors here. All right, here we go.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you need 2 of these, but here's another.
It actually works out. 2 of us, 2 mics.
Hey guys, how are you? So I guess I'm going to start off saying that how many guys, do you guys know about binary options? Have you traded as a binary option traders? Okay, so let me explain what binary options are. Binary options are a simple way to trade, whether you bet up or down, depending on the prices going up or down. Essentially, that's pretty much it. So we have 34 seconds before the next game starts, and Wills takes over and talks about the different phases. So we have actually redefined, simplified, and gamified the Ethereum binary options. So basically, there is no one who's doing binary options at this time. There's few components to this, actually, and we have a very advanced wallet, which you can buy ETH and bet with ETH, essentially using debit card. You can buy ETH with debit card directly, actually. So without further ado, let Wills take over and explain the different phases.
So yeah, we kind of just hacked this in a few days. So there's a lot of like UI glitches and stuff like that. But each game lasts 3 minutes, and it's broken down into 3 phases. The first phase determines the game's strike price. So what it's doing is it's taking the real-time strike price of ETH, it's calculating it every second, then it's going to take an average, and that's what's going to determine the game strike price. And then we'll go into phase 2. You can see there's like the 3 dots, so you know exactly where you are in the game. And in phase 2, participants can either bet that they think the price of ETH is going to be above or below the game strike price. Game strike price is in blue. So I'm on Yogesh's account, and I'm going to go ahead and bet 0.1 that it's going to be up, and Garrett's going to bet 0.1 that's going to be down. And then we actually implemented chat so we can test this.
So what do you think?
Test. So players can pick a side, and then it pools. And now we're in the last phase, which is the waiting phase. So the waiting phase lasts 2 minutes. All bets are locked on the contract. And essentially they just watch the strike price, and they can chat with each other. And yeah.
So basically, next 1 minute, we have 1.5 minutes, we have a time to wait, essentially. This is the time where we'll explain the tech a bit. So there's multiple things in this tech, actually. So first thing is, you notice it's a very interesting UI they have put together. Thanks, Wills, for the extraordinary design. And so basically, we have a wallet that I talked about earlier. I'm going to describe what is called counterfactual addresses here. I know it's kind of complicated to understand what's a counterfactual address. So it's the newest Ethereum fork had a way to derive the contract address without even deploying the contract. This has a specific UI UX side effect where people are complaining all the time UI UX is not good in blockchain, but this actually solves it because you have this ability to fund the wallet even before the contract,
So kind of right now in blockchain, wallets go 0 to 100, where like you sign up for a wallet, all of a sudden you get private keys, public keys, seed phrases, all this stuff. No one really knows what to do with it. So what we did with this wallet is you actually sign up with a username, an email, and the password. You're given an address on the back end. You can fund the wallet. You can actually buy ETH right now with debit card. And so this allows people to get a little bit more comfortable with the blockchain. And if they want to hold their own private or their own seed phrases, they can go in and deploy their account. And it secures it. So
I think the biggest side effect here is actually...
so you won.
You can
So this is like another glitch that says we didn't play, but that's just because our bet lost.
Actually, we won because his bet lost. You got wrecked? So he got wrecked. So basically, we won. So there's a small bug here which shows that we have not won.
What's that? The price went up. Right. So you can see that we actually just won your ETH. So what happens is, depending on what side you bet, all bets are pooled, and then the losers, all their bets are taken and sent to the winners proportionately every 3 minutes. So it's simple and it's kind of gamey. There's usability, I guess you can say. Yeah. And then the next game starts up again, and players have the option to continue betting and, I guess, continue getting wrecked or winning ETH.
So one last point about this, actually. So the ideology here is to move from holding funds and keys to holding funds and smart contracts, essentially. So, so this is one of the earliest of wallets, which shows earliest of games, which shows that you can do that without actually.
Yeah, I guess the next steps here, like if we wanted to continue working on this, would be one, to clean up all the bugs, with a couple more weeks of development, and two, we can take this wallet and make it into an SDK and then just give it out to all game developers so they all have a wallet that's usable and that works on the blockchain.
Cool. Any questions?
Yeah, it would. We would just have to plug into an exchange and get real-time prices. But yeah, we could do it with any, like EOS. We can do it with Tron, Spank Chain.
We can do it for any asset. Trade prices, bet on the prices.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I think there's one more question. What's up, Brecky?
Hey, how are you guys doing the debit transaction? Like, how does...
We are using Wire APIs. Yeah, we'll probably partner with them if you go on to build us.
Yeah, it ended. It just didn't really show.
It didn't really show on my laptop that we won. There was a small glitch, I guess.
I mean, you can. Here's the code if you want to walk through.
Yeah,
some of
so
this
basically, you can actually go and look up the. Sorry, the internet sucks here. I have to say that, but so basically, this shows that there was a transaction here, which is the last transaction 2 minutes ago, and this shows that this was a transaction that was submitted, which settles the bet, essentially. So you can go up and look this up. And eventually you'll be able to go and jump to the transaction and the wallet and the contract address directly from here, actually. So, yeah.
That's yellow wrecked. That's our
All right,
submission.
guys.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Not a lot of time to hack it together, but we got
All right, so
close.
the next team we're going to have up is PhotoGuard. Where are you guys at? Awesome. Let's get them up here. A round of applause. So a big part of what the Global Hackathon is doing that separates us from other ones is mentorship and ensuring quality comes out of these past couple of days. I've been working with these guys, Bryant is a very smart engineer. He didn't know anything about blockchain or Ethereum before he showed up, and he got smart contracts going, transactions, wallet addresses. So I'm really excited for what you guys get to see from this group, and we'll give them a second to set up.
Anyone have a joke they want to tell? Otherwise, you're going to hear me tell the same joke again. Okay, dang. Okay, I'll give the joke. Okay, so what do you call a fish with 10 eyes? A fish. Anybody? All right. What do you call a fish with no eyes? Fish. All right, cool. You guys ready? Y'all have any jokes? The young people, y'all got any cool family-friendly jokes? Put you on the spot?
You guys good?
Okay. All right, here we go.
Oh, wait. All right, fair enough.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hanwei Chang. Our tribe consists of 2 UX designers, 2 full-stack developers, and we really specialize in working with a lot of clients on producing new products and specialized services. And this was a really interesting event for us to attend because none of us really have a background in blockchain, so we learned a lot over the last few days. The product we decided to put out was PhotoGuard, and PhotoGuard, what it essentially does is it will integrate a hash code from a blockchain copyright into the image. The first thing we started off with just looking at UX design process in general was just considering first who's using this and why would we put this solution out. The first reason we're looking at is if you look at the current status quo, what most people use to look at those copyright violations and identify them is essentially going to be AI scrubbing. And when you're looking at 1.2 million terabytes across the entire internet that's only expanding, you can only get so much done so efficiently. So from our perspective, it's a little too inefficient. The other reason why this has to happen is for content creators just like Kai over here, who work really hard on how they produce their content. And they have to do planning, they have to film, they have to schedule, they have to edit, often by themselves. And with that consideration in mind, this was our motivation for creating a really strong solution that would help content creators issue an easier copyright that is more secure. The first thing we started off with after understanding why we're producing this solution was just looking at a basic business model canvas. What is the feasibility of actually putting this solution out? So we looked at all the elements here. We looked at our customer segments. We looked at how they interact with the business. We looked at the partners that work with us and how they interact with the business, the resources we have, how much income, and how much expenses we have. But the key thing that we want to look at here is that value proposition right in the middle of that business canvas. Because in the end, there's actually 2 users we're really talking about. We're talking about content creators, and then we're also talking about people that are going out to buy content and need to verify it. So our value proposition is really about considering both of these users. The next thing we looked at was what's already in the market out there, and what's really going to make our solution more unique and actually beneficial to content creators. We looked at binded image rights and photo chain, and a lot of them do use AI scanning as it is, but then some of them actually already integrate blockchain copyrights as well. However, they don't use it exactly the same way we do. Our unique value is at the bottom right there where we're looking at hash content integration. And what that means is we're actually putting that hash code that identifies that chain in the image. What we did furthermore was to look at real practical advice, because this is all based on assumptions at this point. So we actually conducted a couple user interviews between content creators, and we just wanted to look at what they were going through. What we did was we wrote down all those insights, we grouped them into the core themes we needed to focus on to deliver real value. And the 3 things we noticed was that there was a lot of passion for sharing content. Content creators love to get their work out there, but then they also like the fact that they have this ownership, that this is something that they actually created. And the third thing was there's this trend of production challenges, as I mentioned before. They have to work really hard to get that content out, but then it's hard to put out their best work when they're doing so many tasks at the same time. And what the result is that you have this production challenge that is occurring because they have this, that's affecting their ability to share this content, and then they can't really have that strong sense of ownership of their work because they're really not putting out their best work. What I'd like to move on to next, now that we have a platform for why we're doing this, is get into our actual prototype. I'm going to have our lead full stack developer, Brian Cabrera, go through that.
Cool. Thanks, Hanwei. So here's our deployed. App. So if I'm a user, I'm going to walk you through the user flow right now. Just a little bit of background about the tech. So it's built. This part is built on the MERN stack, and the reason why we chose to use React along with Ethereum is because we figured we could easily translate this React app into a React Native app for mobile. And it's also built on Ethereum because it's one of the most popular blockchain languages used for startups, and since we're in that stage, we thought it would be beneficial. So as a user, I'm going to go into the marketplace, and I'm going to click on an image that I want to purchase. So if I don't own this image, I'll be able to purchase the image, and this will connect to the blockchain. So just to walk you through what's going on here, this image is a tokenized asset, and it's stored as an ERC20 token. Because it's a token and it's non-fungible, it belongs to a particular owner or an address. When a user, in this case me right now, requests to purchase the actual image by clicking this button and hitting accept, a read is written to the blockchain as a transaction. So that transaction will contain information about the hashed image itself, the hash of the purchaser, the hash of the owner, and the price paid. So now I'm going to play a little bit of a video of the prototype as we want it to be. So if you take a look at this is the kind of flow that'll happen if you're an actual photo content creator and you're uploading an image to our platform. So you upload the image, and you can upload multiple images. As you can see, the hash is generated for each image, and as soon as you hit submit, it'll appear in your dashboard. Once you click the dashboard, it'll take you to that image's details, where as the owner, you can see the hash ID. In addition, when you scroll down, you can see the amount of users that have purchased licensing to that photo, the amount you've charged, and what particular users have actually purchased the license. Now, in terms of future steps, we really want to incorporate verification into this, which I think will set us apart from our competitors. So the way verification works is, if I want to make sure that the image I'm using is not already copyrighted or owned by someone, I can upload the image and verify its use. And as you see, I uploaded the image, and it can tell me that this particular image is already being used by someone, and the people that are licensed to use it. Just to go a little bit more into detail about that, this is the way that would actually work. So once an image is uploaded, behind the scenes, if you can take a look at the image, we're actually storing the hash in the image itself as byte data. So this is a visual representation of what's happening behind the scenes with that hash data. So in terms of future steps, we split it up into 3 main milestones. So the 6-month sprint milestone will include building out that hash identifier that's built into the image, building out the image uploader and the hashtag content integration, and blockchain integration. Afterwards, at the 9-month sprint milestone, we want to build in a subscription model and a native marketplace that'll make this more accessible for users and actually give it some profit. And then finally, at the 12-month sprint milestone, alpha testing and round A investment. And that's PhotoGuard. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Have you thought about having crawlers on the web to then check to see if somebody's using the photo in other places where they haven't purchased it, since it will have that hash, and I'm assuming that the image will have that hash incorporated somehow, so that you know if it's.
That's definitely a consideration for the future, but in terms of like feasibility and like at the minimal viable product right now.
Sure. Yeah.
In the future, down the road, yes, eventually, because we'll have that hashtag or that hash embedded into the image, it's feasible that we would go down that road.
Because this is great, because it's like user-friendly licensing of images.
Yeah.
That's really simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Great question.
Yeah, the key thing with this product is actually essentially to create a standard where you do have a reliable resource that's verifiable. And the strength in that really comes from that blockchain method and the fact that there's that hash code. One thing we should probably clarify with the hash identifier, what we're referring to is even though that hash code might not be visible to our eye, like even in the picture, it would have low opacity to the point you couldn't identify it even if you had a magnifying glass. But the point is a computer can read it. So that's the kind of crawler we're trying to create, something that's more efficient and effective.
Awesome, awesome. Let's give them one more round of applause. Awesome. So next up, we have Russell Hill. Something we did differently with this hackathon is we brought in sponsors, people who are looking to improve what they're doing on the blockchain. And so MetaX is one of our partners, one of our sponsors, and they actually opened up their code base, their token curated registry. And one of our participants was lucky enough to look at that, audit it, and then give some feedback. So we're looking for Russell right now. Come on up, man. Awesome. So
My computer just fucked up. Hello? Hey, how's everybody doing out here? Yeah. Good. Okay, I'm working with MetaX. Right now they're using blockchain. They're using the ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum blockchain to develop their product for digital marketing. It's not the first time it's been done. If some of you are familiar with Civil, and some of you are familiar with Foam, Civil had to do with creating the journalism, and then Foam had to do with centralizing the location for certain objects all over a global map. These guys are collecting domains, and then using a token created registry to provide digital marketers with a way to target their advertising. Now, this is important because advertisers have received lists all the time, and they direct their advertising towards those lists. This is different because we're using blockchain to curate the list and develop it over time. Then we provide them a vetted list of products to send to advertisers. And being that digital advertising is about a multi-$100 billion industry right now, this is a good time for this to come out and be a tool for digital marketers. The thing about this method of creating a list of domains for marketers is that it requires about 3 main players that MetaX has to engage with. The first are, how do you get these domains in the system? This whole thing is a kind of a big game to curate the list, and I'll explain as I go. To apply a domain for the list, you have to put some ad tokens up front. You have to put some money up there to put it in. Then people vote whether it should be included on a list. If people vote it off, you lose the money. If it gets voted on, you keep the money. Then over time, people examine the list and they say, hey, do we challenge this domain that does not deserve to be here? Maybe the domain is defunct. Maybe it really doesn't need to be on this list. So they challenge it. They put some money up front. Then you have the voters who vote on whether the domain should stay there. They put their money in. The winners keep the money. The losers lose their money. If it's voted off, it gets removed from the list. If it gets voted on, it stays. And over time, you've built this list of vetted domains. Present this list to digital marketers all over the country. Now, I reviewed the game dynamics, and I have a couple of suggestions for them, because that was my job for this hackathon over the past few days. My first is a suggestion. The first thing they have to do is make sure they engage with all the customers. The use of Ethereum provides anonymity, and in this case, it's not to their advantage. You need to know why people are so engaged in voting for these domains to stay on the list. You have to know what their motivations are, and you can't assume why they're so interested in voting. One day, the reasons for voting could be for social issues. The next day it could be for a completely, it might be that the domain is competing with their domain. So you have to know why the people are involved with the list, why their interest is there. This can be done through a message board, and they can actually ping people over time, and they can also provide rationale before as they challenge people why they should be on that list. This should help provide a better list for the digital marketer, and when presenting it to the digital marketer, you can say, hey, these people are committed to ensuring that there are valuable domains on the list. This is important because Facebook was on their list for a while ago, and as you know, everybody knows they're a very legitimate domain. They're very legitimate, but people voted them off. Why? Cambridge Analytica and all the scandals that are coming up. So you have to know who your voters are and why they're voting for them. I also think they should increase the list segmentation. Right now there's a giant list, and some of them are segmented by interest, but a key point about digital marketing is targeting their focus on certain segments based on lifestyle, location, or demographics. If you're a hyperlocal competitor in LA, you might not be of interest to somebody in New York. If you create categories based on location, you can just focus on those locations and go from there. You may also want to target age. You may also want to target lifestyle and other various segments that these advertisers target. In addition, creating more lists will also prevent one of the downfalls of the targeted, of the token, of the centralized target token, centralized registry. And one thing with that is that they're afraid that people who have more stake in the voting will come over and use their tokens and overpower the list. If you have more tokens, you can actually commit more and overpower the list. And people fear that will interfere with the legitimacy of the list and ruin the list entirely. While with lists, you might have more than one category to go to. So if they hit one list, they may not be so concerned about the other list. They have to do twice, maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times more work. In addition, they need to inform the competitor about when their domain was getting challenged. This increases engagement on the list. You can actually get more votes in there. And a big problem with the TCRs is that there's not a lot of engagement in there. This can increase the engagement, increase the passion towards the list that more people vote.
So Russell, quick question for you, man. What do you think MetaX can do in the next couple of months to improve their TCR?
Well, some of the stuff was some of the stuff I gave you already. But I think it's just about improving engagement, getting more people to care, get more people to be passionate about it, so that they can just actively engage with their customers and find out what they want and give it to them so that they can make the list better, get more recommendations, get more applicants to their list, get more applications, and from that, find out who's most passionate and engage them to keep more people to come back and then voting on their products.
Yes, I think that's a great wrap-up. Let's get a round of applause for Russell. I think he's going to be doing some really great things with MetaX. We need to get these two to meet up and start having a dialogue. So let's have our next team up here. It's B1. These guys are great, right? They really had their idea figured out by the time they got there. They had some great development out there. And Luke here is just a born entrepreneur. We'll see what happens. And they match. I mean, how amazing is that? But we have about 3 teams left, and we're really saving the really impactful solutions for the end. So I don't know if you're ready to get started.
We'll stall a little bit, and I'll stall by saying thank you, Adrian, for the shirts. Thank you, Tecton, for the shirts. Thank you, Global Hackathon, for this opportunity. I came into this no idea what to expect out of a hackathon, no idea what to expect out of CIS. Blows me away. It continues to blow me away what we were able to create in 2 days, what the other teams have been able to create in 2 days. It honestly has floored me, and it makes me very excited about the future of entrepreneurship that I didn't know that I can have. That's awesome. So thank you. Yeah, give it up. Give it up. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No, okay, I won't answer that. My name is Luke.
And my name is Ryan.
And we are co-founders of B1 Sports. And B1 Sports buys and resells used sporting goods. This is what it does when it launches. What we do is we're developing an app that makes selling your used sporting goods seamless. What we do is resell your sporting goods via e-commerce platforms and in a store. That's the boring, quick summary. The exciting part is this. Let me ask you all a question. Raise your hand if you have things in your home that you'd like to see gone. Sitting around, that's right. Keep your hand up if those things have value. Maybe a bit of value. Now keep your hands up if you find that reselling those things on your own is not worth your time, through whatever platform you might have tried. This is the problem. We have more selling apps out there than we've ever had, and more money in those apps that we've ever had, and all these hands are up. Why? The quick answer, these selling apps are not designed for you. They're not designed for the seller, and they're not delivering service or quality to the seller. That's why B1 is launching and doing what it's doing. So the problem in the status quo, I could take 10 hours on this or 10 seconds. That's the quick summary. These apps are time-consuming, complicated, low return of investment on your time, and they're unsafe. You already know the stories yourself about why that doesn't work. Let's go to the solution. The B1 selling app makes selling fast, it makes it easy, it makes it seamless, and it makes it safe. So let's hand it over to Ryan here, how this app works.
Okay. So going to the product, let's just see if I can, because I can't really do it one-handed. Going to the product, this is the B1 application, if it loads. Anyways, so B1, its tech stack is front-end, Flutter, back-end, Java, Swift, and also the Ethereum blockchain in order to connect to the blockchain. Now, one thing is, right, most of you guys have Amazon, PayPal, eBay, as well as Craigslist. And you know how you have to make an account, remember a password? Yeah, it's nasty, no one likes it, and I don't want to remember another password. So do you. So with the B1 application, basically your identity remains anonymous the entire way through, all the way up to when you actually purchase the item. And we do that utilizing biometric authentication on both iOS and Android, right out of the box. So in order to say that I am Ryan Pagan now on, just sign on in, and you're in. You can either buy, sell, and let's see if we can start selling some things, yeah? Okay, do you mind holding the mic for me?
No.
So when you get into selling the application, you need at minimum 10 pictures so that at least you can get every single angle of whatever type of device or whatever type of thing you are trying to sell off. Now, because I don't have any sporting good equipment because I'm a developer, the best thing I got is a phone. So let's go ahead and take some pictures. And you can see right there, directly from the camera, and this is straight from the iOS application. Now, the tech stack behind this is primarily because we want to be able to expand it out later on in the future with obviously augmented reality and depth mapping. So if in the case of you want to buy a treadmill because it's listed on our platform, you can actually see how big that treadmill is going to be, and you don't have to end up going back and forth, especially in Los Angeles, seeing whether or not the dimensions would actually fit your apartment. So it just makes it way more convenient, way more safer, and of course, all of that. So that's about it from my side, and we'll give it back to Luke.
Perfect, thanks. And the opportunities here to scale are very exciting, and we already know they're being worked on right now. So let's answer this question. Why use sporting goods? Why is that where we're starting? Let me tell you a little bit about myself real quick. I started in new and used sporting goods retail, and I worked in this industry for a while. The more I worked in it, the more I discovered a completely untapped market as of yet. Let's check out the next slide here to look at these figures. People ask me, and I love this question, I want to hear it every day, where is the money in used resale? Those who know this know it's there. And I'm going to explain it to you right now. Just in sporting goods, which is where we're starting, because it's an untapped market that again, the other big resellers now can't reach yet. So just last year, 2009, retail sporting goods revenue was $52 billion. $52 billion. What happens to that value over time? Most of it stays there. Who's getting a hold of it now? Thrift stores are only, their total revenue in 2009 was $10 billion. That's billions of dollars in revenue that no resellers are currently getting to. And they're trying and they're starting to. But with sporting goods, an iterative model isn't going to work. Offer up and let go. They're not in the business of making reselling easy. They're in the business of getting a big user base and selling advertisements. When those users aren't happy, they leave the app. We're providing quality and service and reselling it on our end for profit. And why is this important? Let's ask ourselves, this business model, what leads us to this entrance? As we get in, we're targeting high-ticket items. Like any model that starts this way needs to do that wants to scale, we start with your treadmills, your Hobie surfboards, and we'll pay more for it. Resell, buy low, sell high. We'll pay $400 for your vintage Hobie surfboard and resell it easily for $800. And let's realize here that, checking on to our next slide, there's a question. Why us? We're the little guy. This is going to happen. 5 to 10 years, everyone's going to be reselling their things from home with their smartphone, taking pictures, maybe putting it in a box, sending it away, never seeing it again, and getting cents on the dollar from a big online marketplace. If you want that model, great. If that's the best vision of this potential you can think of, then do it. But why us? We give 10% of the proceeds of every sale of your items to the nonprofit of your choice. We give 25% if we donate your items. Why do people care? Here's the point. There are so many people out there I've met and seen at this conference that believe in groundbreaking technology that can be used for good. Where were you before Facebook took off, before crypto took off, that second before warp speed? Ground-changing technology that we get to decide what it'll do. Do we want to keep this consumer cycle of stuff that buries us and kills us going? Or do we want to support the causes that we believe in? Give our used gear a new life with people who can value it. We're the little guy, but this is the scalable model right here, this idea. That's the model that people will believe in. That's the model that will scale. That's the model that will sell. And we'll start in used sporting goods and take it to anything.
Holy cow, where do I sign up?
Any
Thanks a lot.
questions?
We're actually
Anyone?
going to save the questions for the end. We're running low on time.
Okay,
but
sorry about
definitely
that.
find this guy outside. He's been going to the talks. He's been participating in the hackathon. So next up, we've got Olajide in the back. And so you had the entrepreneurial experience, but now let's dig into some tech. Let's learn a little bit about blockchain. Let's learn a little bit about sharing and gift giving on the blockchain. So how's everyone doing? Are you guys interested in these talks? You want to see more? Yeah, let's clap it up. Let's get excited. So, guys, let's get ready. Let's dig in. This guy has one slide, and the rest is all blockchain related. You're going to learn so much. I learned so much from this guy, and he's in it for the long haul. You ready?
I told him I was gonna make one slide, but I don't know. No, I didn't. Oh wow. Let's see what my computer does. I might have crashed it. Oh, I might have crashed it. I got too much going on. Oh.
There it is.
Oh, I can't move my mouse now. All right. So my name is Olajide, and I'm with my brother.
My name is Dio.
And so for the hackathon, we had an app called Slybits, and we was trying to create a new feature. And the feature that we're trying to create is red envelope gift giving. And I want to start off this talk with a quote from Satoshi Nakamoto. And it was like, it might make sense to just get some in case it catches on. If enough people think the same way, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once it gets bootstrapped, there are so many applications. If you can effortlessly pay a few cents to a website, as easily dropping coins in a vending machine. This was on, this wasn't 1/9/2019. This was 1/9/2009. This was 4 days after Bitcoin launched on the mainnet. And so I really thought about this, that only if there was a way to easily send, it should be as easy as dropping coins in a vending machine. But one thing I feel that Satoshi did not foresee is that using a volatile asset like Bitcoin is really hard to use as a coin in a vending machine. That's the story of another time. And so with Slybits, Dow can explain something about Slybits.
Okay, so it's a gift transfer system where you can send a gift of any amount, and in return, the recipient gets a higher amount of the gift that was sent, but it's a completely random number. And we went with a random amount because we feel as if the element of surprise would surprise the viewer. And I know you always come to a point in time where you want to give someone a gift, but time is of a factor, and time at the time the gift is unavailable. So sending this gift would definitely help you with on that factor.
All right. Yeah. So what he was trying, like, on that point is that, like, so I want to go to CVS to get my mom a Mother's Day card, but I can't because CVS is closed. I can send her a digital red envelope. And then I can also see these digital red envelopes being used as like a marketing tool. So you can see, like, pretend like if the Slybits wants to market something, and then I give you an envelope like this, and then you receive it, and this is how the envelope looks. And you open it, and then you get an amount, right? And so the Slybits token gets pegged to the dollar, and you can change these dollars. You can send these tokens again to someone else and create your own message. It's like happy birthday or whatever, and then put the amount. Or you can transfer a debit card, or or you can send it as Ethereum, as a cryptocurrency, because not everyone has US dollars, and this also creates less friction because you don't need a debit card to go onto the app. You can use crypto instead. And so so for example, you can send it to an Ethereum contract. And so this is a Coinbase wallet. And pretend I want to exchange some Slybits into my wallet. I can copy my Ethereum address, and I can send it here. Yeah, there's a bug. There's a bug. Oh, wait a second. No, I put that there. And then I put the amount. Yeah, it's a little buggy. All right, and then you continue, right? And then now you want to withdraw Ethereum. And so now you can withdraw Ethereum. You slide to confirm to withdraw. And so to withdraw Ethereum, we want to create an exchange where people can withdraw Ethereum instantly. But to do that, we have to see who is withdrawing the Ethereum, where's the Ethereum going. So it has to get approved by us before it's sent. So first you slide to confirm it, and then we will get a message saying this user wants to exchange. And then we can swap it out. And so I wanted to send 1 Ethereum, right? And so now I'm involved in swapping it. I have a contract that swaps it out. And then let me see. And so I can see this transaction. I can see the result of my swap, and on the blockchain. Let me see. And see now I can see that something has been swapped, and now I can see in my I can see as a user, as an advanced user, that the data, like how much tokens has been swapped and the Ether amount. And if I go back into my Coinbase wallet, I can see that I received some Ethereum, but as you see, I only wanted to exchange 1 token for $1, but I got $1.47 because Slybits takes the fees and distributes them randomly inside certain envelopes to encourage people to send envelopes.
Yes,
And
how
then-
amazing is that? You're out of time. I'm sorry, but these guys got a working prototype in under 2 days. Let's give them a round of applause. I don't know if any of you guys do smart contract Ethereum development, but I've tried it before. It's very difficult, right? So let's get another group up here. We're going to get Kush up here. They tackled a very interesting problem, and they're the embodiments of what we're trying to accomplish with the Global Hackathon. They were out there, they stayed late, they're working hard, investors were coming by, entrepreneurs were coming by, asking them questions and giving them business advice. But let's give them one more hand up here. I love it, I love it. Good job, guys. Thank you, Garrick. Shout out to them. BMA made it happen. And we also need the dongle. Oh, you already have too many microphones.
That's all right.
Yeah, let me find it. Do we have the dongle?
She needs an HDMI or the dongle. An HDMI. So do you have your computer? Mine didn't. Oh, was it yours that we had up? No, yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. I guess I better turn this way. You gotta face it.
All right. Hey, what's up? Are we ready? Okay. Hey, everybody. My name's Megan. I'm with Kush Dash, and this is my team, and I'll introduce them to you in a second. So who here smokes weed? Uses CBD,
There you go.
right?
Get those hands up there. Don't be shy.
Right. So there's a lot of mixed feelings still about the cannabis industry, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we're Kush Dash. We met each other 2 days ago, all of us, and we're very lucky to the hackathon to bring us together, because not only did we meet each other and happen to have all the right skill sets that we needed to accomplish our project, but we've actually met with industry experts and professionals, including investors, over the last 2 days. That's really enabled us to take something that was a back of a napkin type of idea for these two and to turn it into something that we believe could become a sustainable and viable business following this hackathon. So we do want to thank the hackathon for bringing us together and for giving us this really real opportunity to network with each other and meet real investors, which for all of us trying to solve a complex problem, that's the dream. So let's talk about Kush Dash, right? And let's give them a round of applause for all the things they do to help us, innovators and entrepreneurs, to make our ideas a reality. So with Kush Dash, what we want to do is reduce the time and complexity to transport legal marijuana by listening to the people who love it. This is us, front end, back end, product and business, talking. I don't know, that's what I do. So who's using? So for those people who do not use cannabis, it's kind of interesting to see why people do. There's a lot of medical users who are using cannabis to maintain side effects of things like epilepsy, cancer, PTSD, Crohn's, and extreme nausea. And at the same time, a lot of the recreational users, they're using it for relaxation, for pain relief, anxiety, creativity, and better sleep. So this is an industry that's not just frat boys in hoodies who are trying to roll a joint with their friends. Cannabis is actually a really important solution for a lot of American people to maintain chronic and acute health issues. Transporting marijuana is really hard, and here's a bunch of reasons why. So general market and transporting product, it's pretty good. I mean, most of us are doing Uber Eats, Instacart, Rent the Runway. We're used to getting products that we want at our door. And with marijuana, it's just not the case. And the reason is because of a lot of regulations and rules that are rolling out as states adopt marijuana. And the biggest one that we're solving today is that users currently cannot order on an app with a credit card. That cuts off a lot of people who are interested in purchasing, because if you're a millennial or just any e-commerce user, if it's not easy, you're probably not going to do it. So in the good old days, we already know how people want to buy weed. People like to have word of mouth, call up your dealer, call up your friends, get your bag, friendly experience, easy to pay. Sometimes they throw you a nug. That's the way that people were buying, and it worked. And at the same time, for people who were dealers in the illegal market, they had their community, they knew their product, it was easy to deliver, and you could see up and down your supply chain. Well, we've legalized marijuana, which has been a really good thing. We're able to collect taxes. We've been able to legitimize the medical reasons, but it's really messed up the distribution. So here's the problem that we came to solve, and this is a quote actually that we got at the hackathon. They said, well, this is a cool idea to do an ordering app, but it's being done. And if you can't do something to fix the issue of the wallet and the fact that most people don't want to make a Bitcoin wallet, then it's just not going to work. And so luckily we have a team of designers and engineers and the blockchain to fix that for us. So here's a little bit of a story about how we got here. Not us, but the industry. You can buy weed at the storefront. Obviously, we got to e-commerce with no delivery. Then you have medical delivery, where it's strictly for medical patients. And then we got to what we're calling, what existed 2 days ago, recreational delivery 1.0. And that's delivery of recreational marijuana, but you can't use a credit card. And if you remember from a couple slides that we showed before, a lot of recreational and medical users, they're pretty similar, and they might have a lot of the same problems. So it's really important to both groups to get consistent delivery and for it to be easy. So we're going to talk through what we created. We created a fully functioning product for web and mobile that works not only for the user, but also for the business user, which ultimately in this very regulated and tightly knit community is really important. I'm only going to show you our website really briefly to pay some homage to our amazing designers. I can't believe we are so lucky to meet them at this hackathon. But we're just walking through our business problem. We would be commerce ready. People on this website could sign up and log in, which we think is amazing. And now I'm going to hand it over to our developers to talk about the blockchain technology, which I'm sure you guys are curious about.
Okay, cool. So, are you gonna? Oh yeah, here you go. As you walk through.
All right, I'm gonna just talk about like how the process of the data flow of the application works. So, somebody that would be wanting to purchase a product would be able to sign up with our React Native application, and they would be able to select a product from their local area. And it's so small, I'm sorry, guys. They would be able to check out, purchase it with a credit card, and then it would be converted into our currency that we're using with an exchange. Hold on, let me get to this slide so I could show.
So basically what it is, when a user signs up, the user inputs their personal information. That information is used to register with Kush Dash and a crypto exchange. An IOTA seed is generated for all the transactions because they actually have no transaction costs, so super cool, super cheap. And a crypto exchange account is created via API. The personal info, it's logged to the Tangle, and then credit card info is saved on a Postgres database. When a transaction is created, what transaction is when a person buys weed from a dispensary or from a specific vendor, the card is charged a total amount for a product. The money is then converted to a stable coin. The vendor is notified that the currency has been received and converted to the stable coin. So there they'll basically fulfill the order and it'll go out for delivery. Once the delivery has been fulfilled, the dispensary or vendor will be notified that transaction has been complete, and then they'll actually have the option to convert that stable coin back to money to either deposit in their bank account or to store and deposit later.
Wow, that was great, guys. We all want to hear more, so be sure to grab them in the back after their presentation, after the hackathon. Let's get a round of applause.
Thank you.
These guys did a great job, well-rounded. We're getting all these people involved. But let's hear from our last group. We're going to get Trash Coin on stage. It's our youngest group that we've had the hackathon up to date, and they just kind of showed up.
Keep going.
Oh yeah, they were here to volunteer. They kind of caught the fever of the hackathon. I don't know if you guys have ever been to one, but it's quite the experience. And they wanted to participate. They wanted to contribute, and they wanted to get in on blockchain.
Okay, everybody, this is it. This is the last presentation of the day, and definitely not least, you're going to be entertained. You're going to learn something. You're going to be inspired by what these two have created. And real quick, because after they wrap, that's it for us. But what I would like you to do, if you support the TGH family, or if you participate in the hackathon, please come up front very quickly and get a shirt. And we're probably going to go outside and get a big group picture on the red carpet. Everyone in this convention center is going to be tearing down very, very quickly. So this is pretty much it. Definitely don't want you all to leave, though. Let's talk. Let's make sure we get a group picture. And let's get these shirts. So without further ado, let's hear it for Trash Coin, everybody. Woo, woo, woo.
Hello, my name is Teddy, and here's my brother, Jason. So, Trash Coin is basically like an app that motivates people to pick up trash. And so then that would clean up all the litter. And
I'll take it from here. So, we've all been there. Walking along the beach or a sidewalk when you see a piece of trash in arm's reach. But instead of spending 10 whole seconds to pick up that piece of trash, you walk right past it. Well, you are not alone. This is a worldwide problem. No one picks up trash on public pathways because it's none of their business. Well, the reality is that this none of their business is causing 1.4 billion pounds of trash to end up in the ocean. It's also causing rats to take over downtown LA. So, our solution to this problem is to make it their business. We incentivize people to spend that short amount of time and pick up trash and recyclables, and to look for more. Our Trash Coin app creates a scavenger hunt style game that rewards people for spending time picking up public trash. There's already a market for people who pick up bottles for cash, but we gamify all trash cleanup. We've also moved beyond cash and into the realm of cryptocurrency. Trash Coin will be our cryptocurrency, and we will use it as a reward and incentive. Trash Coin can be traded for money and for sprites in the game. We will also partner with companies to allow users to exchange Trash Coin for their merchandise. Our initial target market is students, high school, middle school, elementary school, and even preschool. Gamification of a public benefit not only makes our public areas more attractive, it will train the next generation to associate picking up trash with prizes and fun. How will we make money, you might ask? Well, thank you for asking. At the moment, the US spends $11.5 billion annually on trash cleanup. We would get a portion of that, as well as a portion from the county for helping clean the trash and for all the data we would collect. The data would include how much trash is everywhere, where the trash is, and how many people are active in the community in picking up the trash. We would also ask private businesses who want to help the environment to advertise and help fund us and allow us to trade trash coin for their merchandise. So, why now? The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. We as humans have to stop destroying our environment for decades, if not centuries. The sooner we start, the better for our environment and our well-being. So we are creating a culture shift to treat our public areas more like our homes and make the world safer and more sustainable. This time, next time you stroll along the beach, you won't think twice about that piece of trash, if you even encounter it at all. We are changing trash cleanup from an imposition and a chore to a game. We are securing our future, one piece of trash at a time. Thank you.
Yeah, let them hear it, guys. So what was your favorite part about participating and working on this whole model and this whole idea?
I think it was coming up with the idea and meeting all these wonderful people here, learning about blockchain, and yes, and also making this idea seem more and more like it could be a reality. I came yesterday, and that's when we started on it, and it's been a wild ride, really.
I love it. Did someone say 30 under 30? But yeah, let's get everyone up here. Let's get you a t-shirt, and we're all going to kind of meet outside at the red carpet. One more hand for everyone who participated. Thank you for coming to the presentations.
Thank you.